Hi guys, just wanted to come by and say hello, and this is probably my last video until next year. I probably won't do any more videos till next year. So sad I won't get to see you until next year. I don't know what I'm going to do for those 2 or 3 days. Can you guys believe it? Here we are at the end of another year. I mean, come on. Time is going so fast. It's like gum. You know, I was digging through the closet in the room that I'm turning into a craft room, and I ran across something I haven't seen in a long time. I've had it for many, many years and hadn't seen it in a while. Do you guys remember this? These things are worth some money now. And I've got Billy Bass and I've got the catfish. And he still works. Let me get the little stand thing up here so you can see it. But I can't believe he actually even still works. If I can find the on button now.
Here's a little song I wrote. Might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry.
Be happy.
Don't worry.
Remember that? I don't know if I can get it to change songs or not.
Be happy.
I like the other song better. Didn't even realize I still had them. I thought I got rid of them years ago. Me in the water. Man, stuff they come up with when we were younger. Yeah, and you know, that kind of brought back some stuff for me. I was thinking about how much today's things are different than it was when we were kids. And you know, I used to get mad at my grandpa and grandma or mom and dad when they'd sit around and say, well, when I was kids, we walked to school in snow up to our knees for miles. We didn't have a bus to ride. And I always remembered thinking, oh God, here goes the stories again about when I was a kid. And now that I'm their age, and I find myself telling my nieces and nephews the same thing, I think about the stories that they would tell us. You know, and I'd be like, well, when we were kids, it wasn't against the law for all of us to pile in the back of a pickup truck and ride in the back of the truck down to the lake. Now, if you rode up on the side or something like that, you were more than likely to get the police to stop you or motion you to get down. They didn't harass you over it. But, hell, there'd be 15 of us in the back of the truck going to the lake, heading off down an old dirt road. And by the time we got done swimming and headed home and going through the dust again, we'd be just as dirty by the time we got home. I'd take a shower when we got home. And, you know, of course, I didn't walk to school in knee-high snow for miles and miles and miles. I rode the bus, but we had to walk to the bus stop in the snow. And we didn't have the little, nowadays, most bus stops build those little shed things for kids to stay in. We didn't have those. So, you know, I just think about that kind of stuff. And, you know, I was thinking about groceries, too. How many of you remember back whenever Kraft macaroni and cheese was 4 boxes for $1, and now they're like 98 cents to $1 a box. Canned vegetables, you could get canned vegetables, 4 cans for $1, and they had sales at the store, 4 cans for $1, and their big sales was 5 cans for $1. And my mom used to buy them like that. And when I first moved out on my own, when I left home, I would get my canned stuff, 4 cans for $1. Loaves of bread, you could get bread 3 loaves for $1 or 2 loaves for $1, and now they're almost $2 for a loaf. Boy, have times changed. And it was cheaper back then to buy whole chickens and cut them up yourself than it was to buy cut up chickens. And you could get a whole chicken for $1.69 for the whole darn chicken, which was great back then. But you know, you have to realize that times change and go forward. If time stood still, we'd still be living in the 1930s. And we'd still have 1930 wages and 1930 grocery bills and stuff. But things move along. But man, it moves so fast that there's too much month at the end of the money. And that's the dang truth. It's like you get a $40 raise on your check, but your rent goes up $100. Or your insurance goes up $100. So you're not getting ahead. The more they try to help you, the farther behind they put you. And it's just ridiculous. And I was thinking about some stuff that I saw at Dollar Tree and thinking about, this is $1 a can for this. And I remember back when tuna was 25 cents a can. And now it's $1 a can. And it's the same. It doesn't taste any better. Isn't canned any better. Exact same thing. Just costs more. Kind of weird, isn't it? You know, and talking about my grandparents back whenever they used to talk about things we used to do. My grandpa, he was a pretty good sized man. I mean, muscle, big, not fat. He was tall, very tall, over 6 foot. And he had this stature to him to where I never saw my grandpa fight, never saw him hit anybody, never seen that. He was a grumpy old man. He wasn't mean, but he was grumpy, very grumpy. And I remember growing up, and even in my early teens, my grandpa used to, when he'd get mad at us, there was one phrase he would say to you. You knew to get out of his way. You knew he was mad. You know, and when you're a kid, you don't know that he's not going to do it. Just the threat of it sounded, you know, scary. And you look at it as a little kid, he looks 3 times bigger than he did when you was a teenager. And as a teenager, you know he's going to say it, but it's still scary because by that time you realize he's not going to do it. But you also realize that he's mad when he's saying it, but he's already mad. But my grandpa would say, I'm going to pinch your little head off. And if my grandpa ever told you, I'll pinch your little head off, you knew he was mad. You knew he wasn't going to do it, but you knew he was mad. But as a kid, and you looked at him, in your mind, you knew he could do it. You know, you had in your mind, this man's big enough to go bear hunting with a switch. So you knew that he could do it. And it just, stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, not too long ago, I was at my mom's house and she was watching television, and I remember thinking, what kind of television shows does this woman watch? Because it wasn't anything she normally watched. And I'll tell you what, I laughed my guts out for a long time. At first she laughed with me, and then after a while when I couldn't stop laughing, she started getting mad at me. But what happened was during her TV show, somebody had called, and she was talking to him on the phone. And, you know, and I was kind of acting like I was watching TV, but listening at the same time. And all of a sudden, I heard my mom say, y'all know we need that all up in here. And I'm looking at her like, what does that mean? And I start laughing. And she's looking at me like, are you crazy? Well, then when she hung up, I said, Mom, where did you pick up the language, y'all up in here? If you need something, why don't you just say, will you guys help me? I need help here. Why would you say y'all up in here? And it had come out because I guess that's the way on this TV show that she was watching, that's the way they were talking. And so she just gets on the phone and up in here. You know, I need it up in here. And I'm like, up in here? And I could not stop laughing. Could not. That was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life for my mother to say. You know, I need y'all's help up in here. It was funny. And, but you know, you have to realize that things change and just think 2022 is going to be completely different than 2021. You know, we paid, what, almost $3 a gallon for gas in 21? Heck, in 22 we may be paying $5, $6, $7 a gallon. Who knows? You know, and groceries are going up. I didn't grow anything last year except a few lemon cucumbers. And if I'm able this year, I'm going to grow a lot of like cucumbers and stuff like that, because I save a lot of money making my own pickles, and I make a lot of pickle relish because I use a lot of pickle relish. I use it in potato salad and macaroni salad and tuna salad, and I just use a lot of pickle relish, you know, all of that stuff, tuna salad. And so I try to make a lot of it, and then just over the last few years I've learned how to make relish. I never made it before. But now, you know, and not last year before last, we canned up a bunch of tomatoes, because if you remember, I put in 8 tomato plants and we got over 300 pounds of tomatoes off from them. And I was making sauce and canning tomatoes and giving them away seemed like by the ton, but I canned a lot of tomatoes. I still have a lot of tomatoes left. I have green beans, apple butter, pickles, salsa, pear butter, Jello, canned pears. You know, so I still have a lot left. It just saves a lot of money. And so now I want to start making what I use the most. And that's going to be more pickles and a lot of pickle relish. And I have a lot of jelly left, so I won't need to make any jelly. The only thing I'm going to do is when the redbud trees come out, I want to make some more redbud jelly, because I am out of that, and that is one of my favorites. And my 6-year-old niece the other day asked me to make her some mango jelly. She doesn't like jelly, period, but she loves my mango jelly. So every now and then when I make jelly, I make her own jar of mango jelly. And when they were down the other day, she asked me if I'd make her a jar because she was out. So I got to do that for her, make her a jar. Bags of sugar. Has anybody noticed bags of sugar went from 5-pound bags to 4-pound bags and doubled in price? Cans of coffee. They brought the cans down smaller. They brought them from cans to plastic, but the cans are smaller. You get less coffee, and it's double the price. Same with flour. You can still get 5-pound bags, but they're expensive. But they brought 5-pound bags down to 4 pounds of flour. You got less flour. It was crazy how they do stuff. Like the ramen noodles, when they first came out, you got 6 packs for $1, and now they're down to 5 packs. And I'm sure it won't be long till it'll be down 4 packs for $1. You know, everything is getting smaller, but getting more expensive. So, you know, even if you can just throw a couple of buckets on your deck, put in some tomato plants, you know, a couple of cucumber plants, whatever, grow your own food, get it canned. You're going to need it. America is falling and falling fast. And it's going to be up to us to take care of ourselves. You know, and we don't know what's going to bring all these New Years. And I used to look forward to the New Year's. Not really anymore, because now it scares me what's going to happen in the New Year. Am I going to be able to live in the New Year? I was looking at some houses to rent up where my sister lives up in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I was stunned. A 3-bedroom house for $2,500 a month. And to rent a room, just the room, no private bathroom, nothing like that. To rent a room that someone has to rent in their house, $700 to $800 a month. and you can use their washer and dryer, you can use their kitchen and stuff, and I'm thinking, wow, everything's gone crazy. People on Social Security and disability, they give what, $800-900 a month for disability, and your rent's $1,400 a month, and they expect you to pay $1,400 a month for rent, pay all your bills, buy your groceries, maintain your car insurance and all that for $900 a month. It can't be done. And now they have all these checks coming out to help people with kids under 5, and you know, $600, $700, $800 a month to help them, and trying to cut down or cut back on student loans, and $8 billion for black-owned businesses. No help for white-owned businesses, but $8 billion for black-owned businesses. Black Lives Matter on there calling for people not to shop at white-owned businesses, to stick with black-owned business. There's no help for the rest of us. If you don't have a bunch of little rugrats running around your house, and you don't have $50,000 in school debt and all that, they're not willing to help you. Senior citizens, they give us a little bit, $1,000 or less a month, and expect you to live on that, and your rent is almost twice as what you get on your check. So, you know, who knows? Guess I shouldn't be bitching. I still wake up every day. I'm still fed. I have a house to live in. My bills are paid. I really don't get anything extra, anything like that. I can't afford to go out and buy this and that I need. If I need something, I have to save for it or don't get it, because I don't buy stuff on credit. I just don't do it. I've never bought a car on credit, a house on credit, nothing like that. If I can't afford it, I don't buy it. I'm not going to put myself in that kind of debt. I'm just not going to do it. Maybe the new year will get better. Maybe I'll win the lottery. Who knows? But then the government would probably take most of that. So if I won $1 million, I'd probably walk away with $50,000 by the time federal government got done with me, and state government and county and all of that stuff. By the time they all took what they wanted of it, it'd be like they got rich and you just got what was left over. So, you know, what's the use in winning the lottery anymore? All right, so anyway, oh, and I wanted to tell you, my sister brought me a dozen eggs the other day when she was down, and I didn't pay that much attention to it. She put it in the refrigerator, and I opened it up, and it was dark brown eggs, huge. They were some of the best eggs I ever had. I don't know who she got them from. Best flavor. So I'm going to ask her where she got them, and if she can get me some more of them. I mean, I loved them. And when I fried them up, I could tell the difference in those and store-bought eggs. They didn't pop and sizzle and blat and splat all over the place, because store-bought eggs are so full of water because of the way they treat their chickens. They constantly shove water and minerals and stuff like that on their chickens to get them to eat more, to drink more, to lay more, and your eggs are almost all water, and that's why they pop and go on in the skillets of bed. And if you get fresh farm home eggs, you'll notice that they don't pop as bad. They do pop, just not as bad. And the yolks are more orangey than bright yellow, but they're so much better and so much better for you. I better hush, or I'm going to sit here and let my coffee get cold, and I'm just going to keep yakking and yakking and yakking and yakking. But there's some of you, I feel like I could sit down and just talk forever about things with you guys, because I love to talk. But, you know, it's a lot different sitting in front of somebody talking than talking to a camera. But because, you know, you're talking to more than one person. But there's a lot of you I would just love to grab a pitcher of tea or something, go sit on the front deck, and just sit and talk for hours at a time. I mean, you guys would be so interesting if you could get a word in edgewise. because I've been told I'm a talker, and I was told the other day once I get talking, it's hard to shut me up. Oh well. Maybe when I sit and talk to somebody, I should start thinking about, oh, am I running out of battery time or whatever, and maybe that'll shut me up a little bit. I said maybe. All right, guys. Well, just wanted to say Happy New Year, and I hope that everybody has a better year. I'm not saying that you had a bad year in 21. I'm just saying that I'm hoping that 2022 is a lot better than 2021, no matter what kind of year you had. Could have been the best year you ever had, which I'm hoping that 2022 can beat that one out. And I look forward to all the new friends I'm going to make in 2022 and all the new things that we're all going to do. I can't wait to see what some of you are doing this coming year. And all right, guys, I love each and every one of you, and I will see you back here.